welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern. Patreon subscriber Joyami gave me a dealer's choice to do whatever I want, and with Modern RCQ season on the horizon, this is what I want to do. I want to play Urza Lord High Artificer alongside Mox Opal like it's 2019 and everything is good. This list comes from Corey Baumeister, who has been working on Urza over on his platform, his Twitch, his YouTube, his Patreon, and I trust Corey to build decks pretty well, so this is where I'm starting. This is, of course, yet another deck using Mox Amber and Mox Opal. With the artifact concentration, Opal's not hard to turn on. With Tamiyo and Emery, Mox Amber is not hard to turn on. Tamiyo, Emery, Mox Amber is kind of a holy trinity here. In Modern, I think we're going to see this at the base of a lot of decks that I enjoy playing. And of course, that dovetails nicely into Opal, getting 7 Mox in Modern. Hell yeah. All of this feeds, ultimately, Urza Lord High Artificer. Let's try to get him on the screen while we talk about him. There he is. 4 mana, 1/4. When Urza enters, make a 0/0 colorless construct that gets +1 for each artifact you control. Tap an untapped artifact you control, add blue. For 5, you can shuffle your library, flip a card, play that card for free until end of turn. This is, of course, just it's a lot of power and toughness. The construct is likely to be large by the time we deploy in Urza. And that is another, alongside Urza Saga, which is even more constructs that get even larger when they're all working together. Being able to tap random artifacts like Aether Spellbomb, Lava Spur Boots, Tamiyo Clues for blue mana is very powerful. Build your own Mox Sapphire anywhere you go. And all of this feeds the mighty Thopter Foundry Sword of the Meek combo. Thopter Foundry. For a colorless mana, you could sacrifice a non-token artifact to create a 1/1 blue Thopter token with flying and you gain 1 life. Sword of the Meek is a non-token artifact that when it's in your graveyard, if a 1/1 enters the battlefield, you may return this to play equipped to that creature. That means you can pay X to gain X life and make X 1/1 flyers at any point when you have these two cards together. And with Urza, it means you can tap the Sword of the Meek for mana before you sacrifice it to Thopter Foundry, then it'll come back untapped and you have infinite life and infinite 1/1s and infinite mana. And then you could also flip your deck with Urza with your infinite mana, if you want to do that. Sword of the Meek is bugged on Magic Online right now. It doesn't equip itself automatically when it comes back, but it does still come back, which is the important part. It's not so bugged we can't play this league, but if we need a 2/3 in the middle of combat instead of a 1/1, that's a little annoying. But if we're making infinite mana gaining infinite life, it is largely irrelevant. All of that stuff is relatively old. The Urza into Thopter Foundry. I made 2nd place at a Star City Open the weekend Modern Horizons 1 came out with Urza Thopter combo. Lost in the finals of that tournament. And then a little while later, I won a Grand Prix with Urza. That build did not have Thopter Foundry in it. It had Karn instead, back when we could have Mycosynth Lattice in the format. Oko and Arkham's Astrolabe were also in that deck. That's how busted we were at that point. But Urza and I have done a lot of winning together. I really enjoy the play patterns. And moving towards an inevitable crushing endgame like this, while we have draw engines like Tamiyo and Emery, and other engines like Urza Saga, just engines on engines. The new stuff in the deck, Malevolent Rumble, look at your top 4, put a permanent in your hand, bin the rest. Sword of the Meek wants to be in the graveyard anyway. Emery can get back Thopter Foundry. There are 2 copies of Shifting Woodland that can become an Urza or a Thopter Foundry if we need those things. Just cards and engine layering on top of each other, doing all sorts of things. Basically, every card in this deck interacts with some other combination of cards in the deck for additional value on the way to an infinite combo. I'm a fan. This is my first outing with Urza since Mox Opal was unbanned, and certainly since Underworld Breach was banned. I will be looking at what I like and what I don't like about Corey's list as we play this. I'm a little concerned there's no hard counter in the main. One of the things that is a problem with the Thopter Foundry combo is if you make infinite life and pass the turn with infinite 1/1s, you have not dealt infinite damage unless you also have a construct that's ready to attack already, because your constructs also get infinitely large when you do this. But you don't win the game on the spot necessarily. And if your opponent is a combo deck that doesn't care about damage, like they win with a Thassa's Oracle or something like that, or they have a sweeper like an Oblivion Stone or Wrath of the Skies, you might be set back to 0 with a high life total, but you haven't actually won. If you have some hard counters in your deck, the old builds played Cryptic Command. I don't know if that card holds up anymore, but you could just flip Urza on your opponent's turn until you flip Cryptic Command and just counter whatever they're trying to do to stop you for that one turn. This deck doesn't have anything like that, but it does have a bunch of critical redundancy, and there's not a lot of Oblivion Stones in the meta right now. So I'm going to go with Corey's work at first, but keep an eye on the gaps I see the list has and see if we need to fill them or not. Let's go play some Magic. I'm on the play in round 1. I am going to keep this hand. It has Thopter Foundry. It has a way to dig for Sword of the Meek. I can mill 8 with this hand. Got a little bit of removal if I need that. I can mill 9 with this hand. Yes, he's a lot of cards. I'm in. Start on Hedge Maze. Mishra's Bauble. That does let me cast Emery next turn, so I am going to bank it. Normally, looking at a Bauble with Hedge Maze, putting it in the graveyard is the same as not putting it in the graveyard, because you use this card to get one card deeper and you could just skip the middleman. But Emery is an exciting Magic card, so I will play her. Probably should have used my Misty Rainforest here instead of the Temple Garden, just in case I mill over a land I'd like to fetch. This is the old classic modern one of each Shockland mana base. If I mill over my breeding pool, it's just gone. Hopefully that doesn't matter. That's always the hope, right? Subtlety pitching Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, opponent is scared. Worried about Emery this early. Cool. But we are playing against Dimir Murktide. I am going to put Emery on top. She remains to be a good card that sees a lot of other cards. Oh no. Well, Emery's about to get Thought Seized. The 1-2 punch here. Oh, we're Esper. Fun. Psychic Frog. Alright, well, I'll put that in a hole. And the Portable Hole is an artifact that lets me cast Emery too. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. Okay, Portable Hole. If they have Force Blue card, their hand would be Thoughtseize at the end of that. Right, Mox Amber. I'm gonna fetch. I think I want Basic Island here. Yeah, I can cast Foundry. That's what matters. Alright. Emery will turn on Amber, and then I can also cast Rumble this turn. There's a Haywire Might in the graveyard. Or would I rather get Thopter Foundry down? No, if they Thoughtseize me off that, I could just cast it off Emery. Yeah, I want to Rumble. Tamiyo, Thopter Foundry, Urza Saga. I'm going to put Urza Saga in my hand, actually. Because I know they have Thoughtseize. Tamiyo's not helpful. That was a fun turn. Okay, Thoughtseize and 2 unknowns in the hand. Thoughtseize takes Thopter Foundry. If they have a main deck Nile Spellbomb or something like that, that would be kind of annoying here. Oh, main deck Pest Control. That's powerful. Luckily, it's not the worst, but it was powerful. Okay, Urza Saga goes in, and I'm going to start with Malevolent Rumble, Mox Opal, or more Sagas. I think I just want more Sagas. And then Emery can replay Portable Hole. Main deck Pest Control just killed like 5 permanents, and it did not slow me down at all. I like that. Another Frog. They're keeping them coming. Frog does not line up well versus Thopter Foundry. I can block for a long time with that thing. Another hole. Get in the hole. There are 4 of these in the main deck. Extremely respectful of small permanents in Corey's build here. I could put a... No, I can't put a Thopter Foundry into play. I don't have the mana. That makes this decision easy. I think I just want Haywire Might. It has power and toughness. It could do something. Okay, cool. Now the Saga gaming begins. Consider. This will be enough cards to cast an Abhorrent Oculus if they have one. Kept the card off Consider. That's a little scary. Is it another Pest Control? Alright, Construct number 1. The first of many. Tamiyo. Construct number 2. The second of many. I'm going to tutor an Opal here. Or I could get Opal and keep making constructs, or I could get Lava Spur Boots and bash. That's a bash for 6, 12, 13, 14, 15 if Emery wants to attack, or it's worth more for me to cast a card. Yeah, I'll actually get boots. These boots are made for clocking. Yeah, just scoop to that one. Cool. All right, we're playing against some Esper, Murktide, something or other with Pest Control right in the main deck. Big fan of Mystical Dispute here. Soul Guide Lantern, pretty useful if a Boron Oculus and Murktide Region are their threats. Portable Hole was really good versus the Psychic Frogs. Dismember is medium minus versus Psychic Frog. Engineered Explosive, very good versus Psychic Frog. Matches versus Dimir X Oculus Murktide decks are usually determined by, are they drawing 2 cards a turn with Frog or not? Like if you can just run them out of cards, it's fine. I don't think I need Haywire Might for this matchup. You can usually always shave an Opal post-board in a 4 Opal deck. I could shave an Opal and an Amber, knowing that they have that sweeper. Okay, let's go. I suspect they'll have some amount of graveyard hate in at this point. They could have something like Graveyard Trespasser. I've seen that in lists. Cling to Dust is a card I've seen. I'm ready to mystically dispute a turn 1 Psychic Frog if I need to, and I'll fetch Hedge Maze if I don't. I'm not going to fight over a Consider or anything like that in the end step. Just a Surveil land. Another Surveil land. Not going to have to counter a Psychic Frog this turn. Okay, surveilled both of the cards I saw to the top. Hedge Maze for me. Emery. She's a ways away, but I do like her. Misty Rainforest, pass. I'm just holding up Dispute here. If they have Teferi or Psychic Frog, those are both cards I'd rather not be in play. If they turbo out an Oculus or a Murktide somehow. All right, surveilled once again to the top. They've surveilled 3 times this game, and all 3 cards are in the hand, but they did see the same one twice off that one. Ooh, fascinating. Kept the card twice, and then missed a land drop. Let me get Hallowed Fountain here, and then go to my turn. I think I'm just going to play Thopter Foundry with Dispute still up. Get Force of Negation this, but I play more of them. It's fine. Counterspell doesn't matter because I have Emery. I'll work my way through it eventually. I guess Spell Snare, Spell Pierce. All agreeable. Yep, sure. If they followed up with, like, Surgical Extraction, then I have no Thopter Foundries. I'll have to win with Saga, but I did that last game anyway. 3 Surveil lands in the deck. Going slow and steady here. Dumped an Unearth. And now I have access to Emery. Still have Mystical Dispute up. I'm going to fetch first, again, just in case I mill over the land I want to search for. I'll get Temple Garden here. No, I think Breeding Pool's more important. Yeah. Our Breeding Pool, take the beats. This does tell my opponent pretty directly that I have something to do with Hedge Maze. But I do have something to do with Hedge Maze, and this is the right play. I'm going to continue using Dispute defensively, not offensively. If they fight over this Emery, she's gone. Whether they counter her or kill her when she's in play, this is not my fight. I'm working my way up to Urza. I have 2 copies of that I can also defend with Dispute. I just don't want them to be able to turn the corner with an Oculus or Murktide. Consider. Kept the card again. Relic of Progenitus. Okay, they could clear my graveyard right now and draw a card if they want, but that clears their graveyard too. Okay, it's Urza time. Ooh, Rumble. What if I rumble into Urza? I don't think I want to rumble with the Relic just sitting there. Temple Garden, Urza. Urza resolved. Okay. Weird, super slow game here, but I like it. This is the type of game I want to play in general when I sign up for a Magic tournament. Consider, put Consider into the graveyard, and then shuffled. Do we have a 4th Surveil land? I'd be so impressed. No. Okay. Deal. I wonder if Ketramos is in this deck. That would make sense with the Relic and the colors. Wow, okay. Had the read eventually. I'm going to have to Otawara that thing. But yeah, the thing that tipped me off was playing Relic of Progenitus in an Boron Oculus deck. Like, you could play Soul Guide Lantern, Nile Spellbomb. Why play Relic specifically? And the reason is Ketramos. Okay, I'll have to Otawara that. And then counter it on the way back down, if I can. Mishra's Bauble. I'm not going to Malevolent Rumble yet. I am going to bounce Ketramos. Alright, can't attack or block right now. It is still a draw engine. Yeah, I guess I'm going to rumble, actually. If I can just apply pressure, that's pretty cool. Tamiyo and Aether Spellbomb. Tamiyo is another draw engine and another legend. It's also another thing that dies to pest control, but everything dies to pest control. Yeah, I think I will get Tamiyo. Okay, Tamiyo's in my hand. Attack for 3. I should have played Tamiyo pre-combat, because if they popped the Relic to block with Ketramos, that would have cost me a little bit of tempo. Otawara would have just cost 1 more. Okay. That's the turn. We are reaching the phase of the game where Mystical Dispute might not even counter the spell. Whatever the spell is. Right, ending my Tamiyo. Goodbye, my love. I should probably... No, I'm not going to bounce Ketramos. I can still Otawara by tapping the Mishra's Bauble, but I want to be able to either counter it on the way back down or do this on a turn where they can't replay it. Psychic Frog resolves. I'm starting to fall behind. This Ketramos pivot was sweet. I caught on to that like a little late. I don't know if I could have changed anything, but definitely noticed it after I would have liked to. The Psychic Frog Ketramos is a combo. They can jump Frog any number of times. Yeah, here we go. They're jumping Frog that draws a card and puts Ketramos in battle range. Menace is unfortunate. If I bounce it now, they can replay it. Is 4 life worth it? What are my other routes out of this? I could just take 4. Yeah, I think I do want to bounce. Because if I can tempo them out, that's something. Ketramos isn't blue, so sacking the spawn, leaving up a blue mana isn't that big of a difference. If they second main play a Boron Oculus, they got me. Alright, it's just Ketramos back. No surprise there. I don't have a lot of answers to this thing. And Otawara was just used. Okay, they're jumping Frog again in their end step. Just digging for cards, it seems. Okay, now it's my turn. Soul Guide Lantern. This triggers when? During your turn. Okay. Soul Guide Lantern actually a little useful here. I'm going to exile Counterspell from their graveyard. Now what's the play? I could play the other Urza, Legend Rule, get another Construct. I'm not excited about Legend Ruling here. I might just have to draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, I am going to do that. Sack this, draw a card. Portable Hole. That at least answers the Psychic Frog. What even are my outs to a Ketramos? Either Spellbomb that's already been milled past. Maybe I didn't respect that enough and should have kept that when I saw it. Infinite Life will beat Ketramos. Yeah, maybe I should just be shredding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can flip with Urza. Okay. I think I am just gonna flip with Urza. Yeah, Urza flip. Cool. That is basically exactly what I was looking for. We're halfway there. Catching them on a turn where Relic is tied down is not going to be easy. Like, they're going to have to be completely tapped out to go infinite. Or, no, I could just sack something else on top of it. I have enough non-token artifacts that I can go twice. Okay, the plan is not tempo them out, nor contain Ketramos. The plan is combo out over the top. Prismatic Ending. I'll just sack it in response. It's better off in my graveyard. You can sack it to itself. This gets me a 1/1. They can exile 2 of my 3 Thopter Foundries here if they want. 1's all I need. Okay, opponent is fighting like I have a Sword of the Meek, but I don't. But that was still a good removal of important permanents. The fun thing about playing with legendary creatures is when the first one dies and one's been rotting in your hand the entire game, it doesn't feel too bad. Fatal Push on that. That's gone too. The Ketramos machine is running. And because it has Menace, I can't block sack and stifle the lifelink. Just going to have to take a hit here. I mean, I could have double blocked, but they would have still gained 4 life, which is what I'm more worried about. No! That is what I was worried about. Thought seizing the secondary stakes real bad. Okay, hard mode activated now. Emery. I love casting Emery straight into Relic Progenitus, but this might force the issue, which is not something I've been able to do yet. All right, well, I've been sitting on this the entire game. It's time. They were in there. I did mill over a Sword of the Meek. There's still 1 Foundry and 1 Sword left in my deck. If they were to exile everything. Well, I'm not blocking Ketramos, so Thopter might as well attack. I'm saving this bauble if my opponent has to pop the relic, which they are going to have to do. Like if I tap Emery, target Thopter Foundry, yeah, here we go. Now the relic has to pop, and now Mishra's Bauble remains in my graveyard to be used with Emery moving forward. Opponents have 5 life with 7 cards in hand. Fatal Push my Emery. Sad. Okay, she's gone. 1 Malevolent Rumble can still win me this game, though. Ketramos is attacking. I'm going to bauble my opponent. Marsh Flats on top. No blocks. I go to 5. They go to 9. Harbinger of the Seas. That turns off several of my colors, unless I draw Opal. Bauble. And I'm going to pass and double block Ketramos this turn. It's time. Playing around Thoughtseize by leaving this bauble back. Yeah, getting flipped over the top with the Ketramos when I thought I was playing against Esper Oculus. I mean, they are Esper Oculus, but the Ketramos pivot did everything this game. That was really cool. But now I know about it. I can sideboard appropriately. Bauble and bauble. We don't need to keep playing from there. That was sweet. Okay, Pithing Needle on Relic of Progenitus is pretty powerful. Haywire Might, exiling Relic of Progenitus is reasonable. Ketramos is unfortunately a Amonkhet god, not a Theros god, so it's not an enchantment. Dismember kills Ketramos, yeah. That should be in. Okay. We found the package. I don't think it's Haywire Might. I think it's Needle and Dismember. The Mystical Dispute did give me a lot of comfort early in the game, even if the game didn't really end up being about that. I could cut like another Opal here. I like the stock up. I mean, knowing that they're a main deck graveyard hate deck, Rumble and Emery both get a little dicier. I think it's okay. Psychic Frog seems to be the thing I could put in a portable hole. You could put Relic in a hole too. But they will get them back. These are also artifacts for the things that care about that. The sideboarding just got tricky. I'm not going to board down on my combo, knowing that they can just randomly clip them out of my graveyard. Yeah, I think I'm going to shave a Rumble and turn Lava Spur Boots into Pithing Needle. Okay. That makes some sense to me. I like this hand well enough. This is turn 2 Foundry, Emery, available. Hedge Maze coming in. Mox Amber, that makes Emery a lot better. Put that on top. And how I can play Urza Saga. Yeah, Saga. The Thopter Foundry is not my plan anymore. Amber. Emery. She could get Stern Scolded, but I got more where that came from. Blue mana available. It's not doing anything, though. Consider resolves. I flipped a portable hole, so opponent can't just play Psychic Frog this turn. Unless they want to bet against me having any white source. Hallowed Fountain. Fatal Push works. Probably should have floated a blue. Just for the sick bluffs. But I didn't do that. And now I have to live with my mistakes. Okay. There is no sequence here that gets me Emery and a Construct. Because it costs 2 mana to play Emery before making a Construct. And then I'd only have 1 left. And if I make the Construct first, Emery costs 1, but Amber's not on. Okay, that's not there. I think I just want to make Constructs right now. Temple Garden, zap it in, and pass. If they have the Harbinger this turn, that will kill my Urza Saga, but it'll be 2-2 versus 2-2 combat, and I can play Emery. And they have not fetched a basic land yet, either. Dumped in a Boron Oculus. That could mean it's about to get unearthed, or it could mean they're not ready for that. I hope it means they're not ready for that. Ooh, just passing the turn. Cool. Construct Beatdown begins now. Portable hole. I'm going all the way in. If they have a Dress Down or a Pest Control, whatever. I'm going to get this Boron Oculus out of their graveyard. Fetch for Basic Island. Not that Basic matters against what they're doing. But let's get Emery down. This lets me draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern if they do sweep next turn, and leaves me with something to do in the face of a sweeper. Emery's in, and attack for 4. Yeah, they got to answer my board, which we know they can do. Or at least we know they're capable of doing. We don't know that they have it right now. We do know they missed a land drop last turn. All right, pest control it is. Would I rather draw a card or exile their graveyard? I think I'd rather draw a card. Tamiyo, and then Mox and my other things die. Emery remains. Emery target Soul Guide Lantern. I think that's what I want to do. I would prefer if my opponent didn't suddenly have a giant threat in play. That makes everything harder. Resolve Tamiyo versus Resolve Thopter Foundry right now. I don't need Thopter Foundry right now. I've drawn one card this turn. Yeah, the Soul Guide. Not ready to flip Tamiyo yet. Prismatic Ending on Tamiyo, you got it. I think I'm just going to leave Soul Guide Lantern in play. See what happens in my draw step. Okay. I'm going to play another Tamiyo. I'm going to start there. Well, I'm going to play my land first, then I'm going to play Tamiyo around Mystical Dispute. And would I like to draw another card or get some more mana? If I get Amber here, I could play Foundry. And I can play Foundry anyway. Yeah, I think I want Amber. And then Foundry, not Spell Snare. Foundry. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They do have 6 cards in their graveyard, but they've missed land drops for the whole game. I'm actually going to bomb their graveyard right now. No Murktide, no... I don't want them to turn the corner with a threat, and they did hit land number 3. If they play Ketramos, it is on, but I'm working my way past that right now. I try to outvalue that big dummy. Killing Emery is smart. Blue-black, Psychic Frog. Okay, my last card in hand answers Psychic Frog. I like that. And unfortunately, Portable Hole is templated in the new fashion, which is exile it until it's not in play anymore. It's not 2 separate triggers like Oblivion Ring. So there's no trick to sacrifice the Portable Hole in response to its trigger. And your boy found Urza Saga. I'm going to draw a card with Clue and see if I hit anything insane. Kind of did. All right. Rumble. Bummer. Didn't find a sword. I did find an Urza, though. We like Urza when this many pieces are in place. I could also play Emery right now, which is a big flips towards sword. All right, I am going to take Emery. Emery, another 4 looks at 2 swords. Found Sword of the Meek. Okay. I can sacrifice Mox Amber using Eldrazi Spawn token to get Sword of the Meek out of my graveyard if they play a graveyard hate card. I don't have the Urza, but I do have the Pay X, Make X 1/1s game going. All 3 of my Foundries are in the game right now. 2 are in the graveyard, 1's in play. If they can Prismatic Ending this one and play a Relic of Progenitus this turn, that does actually stop me from comboing out. Okay, Ketramos resolves. I don't have a fight for that. And I'm not going to make a Thopter in the end step because that's not important, but it is important to make sure I don't lose to Surgical Extraction or Fairy Macabre or any dumb shit. Okay. Mox Amber. I don't need to do this, basically, ever. What does Emery want to do this turn? Emery could put a backup Foundry into play. I could Pithing Needle Relic of Progenitus, but I'm not worried about Relic of Progenitus. I think I just want to put Mishra's Bauble into play. Or I don't have a Mox Opal yet. I think backup Foundry is actually pretty reasonable. And the reason is that they do have Graveyard Hate, and we know it. I'm going to sack Mox Amber, make a Thopter, get Sword of the Meek out of the graveyard. It does not equip automatically, but it should. Okay, and now I can make 4 Thopters gain 4 life, or make less Thopters than that, and cast Mystical Dispute. And they have to beat my double Foundry Sword of the Meek. That's in play now. Graveyard Hate is not good enough. I don't think making constructs really matters anymore, either. So this is whenever one or more cards are put into exile. So it's not leave the graveyard. I could just take 4. Yeah, I'm going to try to race. I don't care about the 4 life, and blocking just means I would do less damage on the backswing. Psychic Frog. I can play Portable Hole from the graveyard. That's fine. Okay, end of turn. Sacrifice Sword of the Meek to Thopter Foundry. Okay, they're sacking Psychic Frog in response, or they're discarding to Psychic Frog. Looks like they're going to try to draw a card here. Okay. They're digging for answers to this right now. Didn't have one. I would like to return this to play. And then I'd like to make another one. I can go down to 1 mana here. I'll just leave my spawn up, but otherwise just dump out dummies. Okay. Not tapping all the way out. Saga ticks up. Just going to make a mana. And either Spellbomb can deal with Ketramos with my floating mana, sack Sword of the Meek. Emery target Portable Hole. Portable Hole, exile Psychic Frog, Shotgun Breeding Pool. Life is no longer what this game is about for me. Attack with my creatures. Okay, pass. Pest Control. Mystical Dispute. Won that fight. Cool. And they're done. Cool. And the cool thing here is that Pest Control doesn't kill Sword or Thopter or Emery. Oh, I could have bounced Ketramos in response, even if I didn't have the counterspell. I'm under no pressure. My tokens all die, then I just start making tokens again. Powerful stuff. All right, that felt good. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw for round 2. I'm a little worried my hand doesn't have white mana, but I have a Saga and the ability to use it. Bobble's a redraw. I'm on the draw. I get to see a lot of cards before that's necessarily a problem. Unless they play turn 1 Ragavan that I need to put in a hole. Then I'll be a little disappointed. But even that I can eventually overcome. Turns out infinite life and power is a big endgame that can make up for almost any early game in which you're behind. Opponent mulled to 6. Sacred Foundry tapped. We love to see that. No Ragavan there. A Bobble. Let's have a look. Rustvale Bridge. Fascinating. Okay. Well, they got some artifact stuff going on over there, too. Drew another Saga. I wonder if they're a Cleansing Wildfire deck. Rustvale Bridge in play. Saga. I drew some Boots. That is a permanent I can cast with the mana I have. I'll take it. Inspiring Vantage. Is this just like a burn deck that has Galvanic Blast in it? What are we doing? White Orchid Phantom. Okay, well, that card's pretty good against Urza Saga. I do have exactly one basic land in my deck to grab, though. If they keep flickering that somehow, I'll be in trouble. Sword of the Meek. Well, we are getting closer and closer to the Lord's Light here. I am a white or black source. I don't play any black sources. That was half a joke. I have one black source in my deck, but it's also a white source. It's Mox Opal. So I'm one white or black source away from infinite life versus whatever this red deck is. Though I suspect I'm about to get Cleansing Wildfired. And my mana might actually be a problem. You have Boom Bust. Okay, cool. Yep, same thing. But seriously, deck. Any white source, and I don't think a deck like this one could ever win. Most decks can't beat Thopter Foundry. Bobble. All right. I'll play Shifting Woodland and Mishra's Bobble. And I'm gonna bobble them. Thelia. That was good to know about. Come on, deck. Hedge Maze. It's messing with me now. All right, so starting this turn, I'll never have 4 mana again. We're so close, deck. Oh my god. Yeah, if this Hedge Maze could cast Urza, I would not be worried. Malevolent Rumble. I think that's good enough. That's so many looks at a white source. Dangerous, though. Thelia Flickering White Orchid Phantom. Or if they find something better. That also works. Do I have to search? No, I can decline, which means I don't have to shuffle away the card I just kept. Here comes Thelia. Exiling the Phantom. I go to 14. Suppression Field. Oh my goodness. Well, that's really good against what I'm doing. All right. They probably kill Shifting Woodland here unless they're actually trying to take me off. No, they can't take me off blue, and taking me off green eventually goes through Shifting Woodland anyway. All right, went after Hedge Maze. I'm not going to shuffle. Go to my turn. Malevolent Rumble. Cast that. I found Hallowed Fountain. When do I use this? I think if I just put Thopter Foundry into play. Or no, I have to exile something with Portable Hole here. Wow, that suppression field, really good. All right, I'm going to take Hallowed Fountain, play it, and I think I want to I'm putting something in a portable hole here. The problem is Felia is good against anything. All right, I'm going to play portable hole and hope they don't have a second Felia in their hand. If they don't have a second Felia, this plays better. If they do, then bad news, everyone. Cool, they didn't play another one. I do have a white source just hanging out here right now, though. Avalanche Riders, let's go. My opponent's a sick freak, but I like it. Okay, I'm going to 8 life. I can't afford to lose my Eldrazi spawn. Emery, okay. That's a card I can play. Or Urza into Emery is better. Yes, would I rather have 1,000,000 power in play or a 1/2? I choose 1,000,000 power, please. Okay, Solitude in response. I can still make 3 mana right now. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3 mana in response. I still get a construct. I can play Emery, and I'm 1 mana short of equipping Lava Spur Boots because of Suppression Field. All right. That was a good timed Solitude. They're down to 1 card in hand, though. And the thing about decks like the one my opponent is playing is if they get behind, they have a really hard time catching up. Flage, picking off Emery, is potent. They only have 3 cards in the graveyard. I go to 7. Sword of the Meek. Oh my goodness. All right. I can make Construct larger. Yeah, I think making Construct larger is the better play, and I am not going to play around Avalanche Riders. I'm going to start attacking back. And right here, right now, this board state is one in which Sword of the Meek not equipping automatically as a bug would be devastating, because a 2/3 flying blocker actually changes this game significantly. Oh my god. Well, I guess equipping is what I can do. Equip and wait to die. We're so close, team. I lose the Lightning Bolt or a second Flage from here on out, though. Another tapped land. They could hardcast Solitude at this phase. It can't exile Construct because of Boots. Mishra's Bauble. All right, I'll play it. This lets me hit harder. I'm actually winning the race right now, somehow. We've gotten to this point. Any flash creature or burn spell changes that. I'm going to spend 2 mana to bauble them. Show me a land, White Orchid Phantom. That can block. All they need to do is block for a turn. Rumble. Oh my goodness. Flagstones of Trocare. Yeah, so this White Orchid Phantom, if that was a land, I would have actually won this game, despite all the shenanigans. What do I need to draw? I need to draw Tameo. They're thinking about flagstoning, or destroying their own flagstones to ramp and get closer to Flage, I think. If they don't go after my land and I rumble into Tameo, I could block and turn the game around, and then they're back in top deck mode. But if they hit their own land, that's 4. They block, that's 5. Oh, okay. That's really smart. Okay. So they get to search for 2 planes here. There's the one off Phantom. The one off Flagstones could be non-basic. Oh, this is just a win. Cool, yeah. If they have a Surveil land, they just win. Good job. Found the line. Okay, so I kept a hand that needed a little help on mana and happened to queue into Boros Land Destruction with Suppression Field. I'm not going to feel too bad about that. Dismember looks good. I think I want all my Opals and Ambers because those are really good against Stone Rain. Haywire Might can clear... Haywire Might and Portable Hole look like my best cards for the matchup. Lava Spur Boots I'm not excited about. And Bauble's a lot worse if it costs 2 to activate. I think I'm still going to shave an Opal, even though they're good. I still play a lot of them. These are the only changes I'm making. Okay, I'm going to keep my hand that has access to colors of mana in it. Flooded Strand, pass. Inspiring Vantage. I'm going to get Hedge Maze. I will keep lands. Lands are good. I'm going to fetch for a white land and play Sword of the Meek. I'll get Temple Garden first because I think Hallowed Fountain's better, and I suspect they will destroy this at some point. Flagstones, they could do the trick and kill their own thing. Did not do that. That probably means Felia is the card they have. I'm going to get Hallowed Fountain here. I'm just taking my beats to get my mana set up. Emery. And Dismember is going to be additional beats, but I will cook Ophelia, I think, if they play one. I milled 0 artifacts there. Good job. Okay, they played Ophelia. I don't think I need to cook it until they go into combat and I see what they might blink with it. All right, the White Orchid Phantom is here. Going after Temple Garden, that resolves. Who would I rather have under Portable Hole? And who would I rather have in the graveyard? I think I'd rather have Felia under Portable Hole and White Orchid Phantom in the graveyard. So I'm going to Dismember. This deals me 2 extra damage this turn. I'm just playing from 7 life here, but I think it's going to be worth it. I wish this Emery had done anything, though. Sacred Foundry, untapped. Scary. Mox Amber, okay. I'll play my land, I'll play Portable Hole, get Felia out of here. I'll play Mox Amber and equip Sword of the Meek to Emery. I'm not going to attack, though. Like, we've seen Avalanche Riders in their deck. It's kind of awesome that I'm playing around Avalanche Riders in 2025. I feel behind. I really needed Emery to do anything here, and it didn't, and now my engines are collapsed. Arena of Glory. Well, I'm glad I played around Haste. There's only 1 fetchable land in my deck left, and it's not white. Prismatic and my Portable Hole. Yep. That was always possible. Casting Dismember. Unless I get Opal online somehow, casting Dismember will put me into Flage or Bolt range. Molten Rain. Okay. I'm at 5. And I don't even know what my draws left are. Like, I am pretty close to dead. This fetch means this Dismember doesn't work. But if I don't fetch, then it'll never work. All right. I am dead. Some weird runs, like obviously if I just had a white source before, they had 4 different hooks in game 1, I win easily. This game, if Emery mills over a value piece, we're at least still playing. But this is a powerful matchup against exactly what I'm trying to do if I stumble. Good job. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I am on the play in round 3 with, does this hand actually work? It's so close in so many different ways. If I had blue to get one of these legends down, if I had a 3rd artifact, interesting. I'm going to keep this for science. And I think I'm just going to play Urza Saga. Because if Urza Saga pops getting me my 3rd artifact, that can get me out of this if I don't draw out of it before then. Saga, trigger, pass. Most decks that would start on Urza Saga like this, it's Amulet. Oh, I hope that is the lie I'm selling to my opponent right now. And Shifting Woodland is also an Amulet. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what this looks like. I don't know how much that's going to matter, but if they like preordain or consider or make decisions based on me being an Amulet deck, I'm going to get them. They just sewered something to the top. Another land. We've got Esper again. And there's Psychic Frog. Okay, we go to my turn. Portable Hole. Banger. Might be the best draw in my deck, actually. I'm going to go for... I already have Opal and Amber. I think I want Spellbomb. I'll get Spellbomb. Play Opal. Play Amber. Play Portable Hole. If they have Force of Negation, it is worth using here. Oh shit, I did this out of sequence. No, it doesn't matter. I couldn't do what I wanted anyway. Yeah, Amber's just not on. Good job. Yeah, there was no way to actually cast Portable Hole this turn. I could draw a card with Spellbomb. Yeah, a little risky, but I like it. All right. Like if I hit my land drop there, then I can play Tamiyo and Emery. And I don't lose Metalcraft because I have 4 of them. All right, have a peek. All bangers from here. Took Emery. Stonks. Oh, I can't cast that. I'll play Tamiyo. And attack for 1. I'm wondering how useful these shifting woodlands actually are. Like, do you need two? Because hurting for white mana has actually been a steady issue so far across the 2.5 matches I've played. I could cast Stock Up this turn, but it cost me an Opal. I think that's worth doing. Opal, Opal, Stock Up. Okay, Urza Saga and Emery are powerful cards, but Sword of the Meek is probably better than Emery here. All right, Saga, Sword are in my hand. Play Saga. Yeah, I think I would retool the mana base at least a little bit, get another white source in, another Hallowed Fountain in the deck over one of these shifting woodlands. Like, why are we planning with our mana base to flip things back that have died or been milled at the expense of just playing the game normally in the first place? I don't like it. What I do like, though, is just activating Urza Saga onto this board where nothing's happening. I'm not even going to play my Urza or Foundry. They're an Esper control deck just holding up removal and interaction. Okay. Haywire Might is dead. I gained 2 life. My deck does not draw a lot of cards. It's like baubles and then the alternate modes of various spell bombs are what do that. They must have a removal spell if they're attacking. It doesn't mean I'm not going to make them have it. Okay, Fatal Push to the surprise of no one. I go to 20, and end step. Do I want Hallowed Fountain or Hedge Maze? I have white off the Mox Opal. I think I want Hallowed Fountain. I don't really need card selection here. My cards are already really good. Another Foundry. So blue-white. I'm going to make Construct. This slows me down a turn, but again, if I can just park massive creatures in front of them, that works for me. Lava Spur Boots does very little, but I already have Opal Amber, and I'm not going to bobble into this Bowmaster. So Lava Spur Boots it is. They're at 10 life, which means if they don't react to this, they're in a lot of trouble. If this opponent has something like Pest Control in their main deck, as our previous Esper opponent did, that's really bad for me. I'm not in a spot to absorb something like that. I am in a spot to bash them for 6, though. They're at 4 life, which means this Orc army is probably going to have to stay home if they don't have another removal spell immediately. And it's only a matter of time that they can spend in the Abyss before they have to tap mana to deal with this, and then my hand that they know is scary unlocks. Okay, just leaving back the full blocker squad. Okay, I'm gonna play Misty Rainforest and Sword of the Meek. Pre-combat Sword, it just makes Construct bigger. And I can't double spell Foundries this turn because of this shifting woodland anyway. Okay, attack. Got a little jumper right there. And now I am ready to start hurling spells on the stack. Reading Pool. Basic works here. Yeah, I'll just get basic, protect my life total. Yeah, Spell Snare, that's fine. I've got another one. But they don't know that. This is the card they don't know about in hand. They do know about Urza. And Shifting Woodland, suddenly relevant. If I can get... I guess I already have double green and Delirium. Okay, Shifting Woodland turned on now in a spot where I don't know if I need it, if it's not in play, but now it is here. I don't really know how to phrase this. It's... I think I would have won this game by now if this was just a blue source, but also now it's kicking in. It's pretty relevant. All right, do I want to shove the Urza or the Foundry? I think I want it to be Urza. If they have Counterspell, it gets either one. This removes the information they already know about. Okay, Counterspell is fine. And they could trade off with Construct and Murktide, or they can jump block and try to race. Yeah, I would trade here too. I think that's a reasonable decision. If I find one more mana anywhere, I can start copying Thopter Foundry with Shifting Woodland and making at least one Construct a turn. Oh, are we a Kaito deck? Fun. Okay, opponent's a Kaito deck. They have 4 cards in hand. It's about to be 5. One of them is Orcish Bowmaster. We've seen Spell Snare in the list. They did cast one of those. They would need something pretty specific, like Stern Scolding to counter Urza here. Oh. Alright, so I've seen Spell Snare. Urza is literally just lethal, so I'm going to play that. This thing's harder to counter, like Force Negation doesn't get it, Spell Snare doesn't get it, and it wins the game on the spot. Tap portable, hold, equip lava spur boots. Game. Cool. All right, sweet. Just had to work through their interaction. Urza Saga doing the most. Okay, we're against a Esper Kaito tempo deck. Mystical Dispute is good. We saw Murktide. Soul Guide Lantern could be relevant. I don't think I need Haywire Might. Always fine shaving an Opal. Do I want this Soul Guide Lantern? I don't think I need the Soul Guide Lantern. Pithing Needle can name Psychic Frog, or if they have some sideboard card like a Nile Spellbomb, it can name Kaito. The question is, do I care about those things? I'll care about them when they show them to me. I'm going to keep the sideboarding light. I think I am just structurally favored in matchups like this one. A lot of mana on turn 1. This is turn 1 Tamiyo and Emery. I'm going to keep. A Thoughtseize is kind of rough, but I'm in. Don't threaten me with a good time. Hallowed Fountain tapped. And now I'm going to play 5 permanents. 6 permanents. Another Opal. Okay. Opal. Bauble. I'm going to sequence the Amber last. Because if they see the Amber coming and like force a negation to try to stop my mana and I just get them with another Amber, that value is indescribable. Okay. I think I want white more than I want green here. Hallowed Fountain it is. Emery. Hit nothing, but I have a Bauble this game. Tamiyo. So much mana, can't even spend it all. I'm going to Bauble them before Orcish Bowmaster kicks in. A Thoughtseize. Disappointing, but okay. If they spend this turn Thoughtseizing me, that's a turn with Emery and Tamiyo going nuts. And the card I drew they can't take anyway, so this actually is a great turn for them to Thoughtseize me. I hope they do. Yeah! Gaze upon my redundant legendary artifacts. And lose 2 life. Opal in the graveyard. Prismatic ending. Tamiyo. Okay. 1 engine down. I got another one still going. Bring back Mishra's Bauble from the bin. And I'm going to play Misty Rainforest, and I'm just going to pass here. I'm probably going to Bauble myself, and then decide if I'm going to fetch. But Bauble now lines up poorly against Orcish Bowmaster basically anytime. Ooh, this looks like a prismatic ending. It is indeed. Okay. Well, now I'm going to fetch Hedge Maze, which sees the same cards. Oh, wait, I milled the Hedge Maze. Oh, no, that got randomly milled. It was definitely right to Bauble myself. That was a mistake. Assuming I had access to a card, I didn't. Okay, I drew Flooded Strand. We're happy to see Tamiyo, though. And I'll play Temple Garden. Psychic Frog's pretty scary. There's Frog. It can defeat Tamiyo if they're willing to discard 2/3 of their hand. Stonks. Okay, I'm going to fetch first, because I think there's only 1 fetchable left in my deck. Let's not accidentally draw it. 1, 2, 3. Stock up. Portable Hole, Urza Saga. This is what I'm looking for. I've already made a land drop this turn, but I don't need another Tamiyo, so Portable Hole Saga is as good as it gets. I think I actually do want to attack, because if they jump Frog, discard 2 cards, kill Tamiyo, and then I Portable Hole the Frog, I'm exchanging all those resources. It's basically like turn Tamiyo into Mind Rot is what becomes available to me. Okay, so that costs them a land and a Spell Snare. Okay, hope you can't beat this. Frog's gone, and I'm going to hold the clue and pass. That costs them resources in the graveyard, resources in the hand. Nile Spellbomb, okay. You already killed my Emery. And I'm not going to crack the clue token. They're representing Bowmaster. The clue makes my constructs bigger. Spellbomb. Feel pretty far ahead at this point. If they kill my Urza Saga, I'll feel a little behind. But I still have Clue and Spellbomb to dig. Yeah, they're just playing Draw Go. I'm happy with that. Urza. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. If I'm willing to... No, this is the wrong Mox. Yeah, if I play Urza and they counter it, I get nothing this turn. I don't have enough to Saga as well. So I'm just not going to do anything. Okay, I've been bombed. And we'll see what their plan for my constructs is. 6, 6. 7, 7. 8, 8. Haste. 8, 8. Haste. They need something like Dress Down right now. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play that land. There's no fetchables left. If they play Bowmaster to chump, I'll draw with Glue in response. Fatal Push, the one with Ward. Okay. I guess if you're not spending your mana any other way, that does save you a damage. And then right now, while Bowmaster's not represented, I'll draw a card with Glue. And I'll pass. Godless Shrine. Okay, Emery was a cool draw, because with Lava Spur Boots, opponent has to fear this a little bit, and if they counter it, I could still follow up with Urza. Counterspell, you got me. Urza, Lord High Artificer for the win. Tap Portable Hole for mana. Lava Spur Boots. Nice! Okay. Both games ended with Urza, Construct, Lava Spur Boots, attack the Construct in for lethal on a otherwise, I'm not going to call this a stable board, but on a non-lethal board. I like that endgame. On to the next round. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are Unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. I'm on the draw in round 4. I think this hand is just a little too stinky. I mean, it has the whole combo, though. Alright, I'll try it. We're here doing things for science. I already know a couple things I'm changing about the list. Let's stress test. Like, do you have to mulligan to a hand that has an active Mox? If you do, the deck is not constructed well. You should be able to keep hands without a Mox, and then just be stoked if you do have a one. It should not be a disqualifying factor. It's just surveilled a Hallowed Fountain to the top. Shadowy Backstreet, we're probably playing against Orzhov Sewer. Oh, okay, another Esper something or other. Oh, okay, this is Esper Goryo. And there's a Traxa in the graveyard, Danger Zone. They just brought Ephemerate back to their hand. Yeah, I could get a Traxa next turn. Okay, I can play Malevolent Rumble right now, and then maybe keep doing stuff. Yeah, I think I'm going to play Rumble. My Soul Guide Lantern's in the sideboard, so this isn't something I can hit here. Do I want land number 4, or do I want Tameo? And the Bauble is mana with Urza next turn. If I use the Spawn to play Urza, have Bauble, that's 2 for Sword of the Meek, and then I can play Emery. I'm actually going to take Bauble here, and then not crack it. I'm playing to the high roll, because that's also what my opponent is doing. That does cost me Otawara as a land if I don't draw another one. Okay, just like don't have the Gorios, please. Okay. Mana number 3. We know they have Ephemerate. If they Goryo here, I'm going to take 1,000,000, and then they'll have every card in their deck in their hand. Okay, here we go. We have queued into a faster combo deck with main deck consigned to memory. Nasty. And Force Negation. I would play those two if I was going to draw 20 cards in a turn. Infinite Life does still beat this start if I can maneuver myself into that position. They took Flooded Strand, Force Negation, Emperor of Bones. And then I get hit for 7, then they Ephemerate, and they get another reload. Yep, Ephemerate, Traxa, Tainted Indulgence, more Gorios, another Emperor, another Traxa, Psychic Frog. So they can go Psychic Frog, discard a Traxa, Gorios a Traxa, but they already have one. Okay. Legend Rule might keep me alive for a turn. And Force of Negation does not counter Urza, Lord High Artificer. They took Flooded Strand, Atraxa, and Tainted Indulgence. Okay, this does not die because it's a new Atraxa. Then we go to my turn. I have to discard 3 cards. One of them's probably going to be Atraxa, be my guess. Atraxa and the 2 Flooded Strands. Okay. Versus Saga. Well, that's better than Otawara. Okay. Saga, Urza. Can't Force a Negation this one. Urza trigger. Now I have to decide if I want to play Emery or flush out this Force of Negation with Sword of the Meek. Emery gets me access to my graveyard next turn, so I'm more puffed up versus a Thoughtseize. It also reduces Otawara further. Okay, yeah, I'm going to play Emery here. All right, milled a bunch of stuff. Emperor of Bones can take some or all of it, but okay. Yeah, I really just don't want Sword of the Meek Force of Negation if I can avoid it, but I guess I'm trying to trick them into countering Stock Up next turn. Okay, do they want to reload their hand with this Ephemerate? Or do they want to hit me for 7? What are they more worried about here? Okay, they're going after Archaeologist. Mill 3, found another Force of Negation. Disappointing. So I got to beat 2 of those now. We're in the Bone Zone. Is Psychic Frog lethal here? Yeah, it is. Okay, so if they exile their Psychic Frog, bring it back. I don't have flying blockers. Yeah, they got me. I am 1 mana short of Ottawaring the Atraxa. Okay, so on the play or +1 Mox, either outcome here lets me survive this turn. Okay, yeah, this was tighter than it may look. And being like this close to tangling with turn 3 sticky Atraxa, I'm going to count that as a positive result of what the deck can do, even if not, obviously not a positive game result. Okay, cool. Soul Guide Lantern comes in. Mystical Dispute. I don't think I care about Ethersworn Canonist here. Bathing Needle can aim Frog or Emperor of Bones. Engineered Explosives can kill frogs and bones. Swan Song can counter the Goryo. Okay. Opal, Amber. There's still a Psychic Frog deck, so I don't want to go too low on Portable Hole, but I am going to cut some of them, and I don't think Haywire Might is what I need here. Okay, this is what I'm going to try to do. Consigned to Memory can also counter Philology triggers or Atraxa triggers, but at some point you're overboarding and not actually doing anything good. Speaking of not doing anything good, this hand, 1 artifact or 1 colored source short of being what I want. This hand's really good, though. I'm actually going to keep this because I can counter Frog, I can beat the first 2 Goryos. If my job is defense, I am extremely defensed here. Okay, I'm just going to play Soul Guide Lantern and Mox Opal and pass the turn. When it was on a Multi 6. Surveilling, kept the card. Okay, some mana here would be great, but I can play the game if I miss. All right, deck, you're a jokester. Not that mana. Even Mox Amber would have been fine there, but that one's pretty bad. I can dispute a Psychic Frog if that's what they have. If they have nothing, we'll just play Draw Go then. Ha! Always had it. I am still too scared to rumble. I'm going to fetch the Hedge Maze this turn, probably. So now I don't even have to dispute a frog. I can put it in a hole. They kept their Surveil in the end step. I am going to fetch Hedge Maze here. I think that selection is good, and getting the rumble is nice. I could get Temple Garden and unlock all my colors, but what's the rush? Hallowed Fountain on top. Easy game. Okay. Shock in Hallowed Fountain, and then play Malevolent Rumble. A Tameo. I do want that, but I'm not going to tap out for it. I will take it and let my opponent see clearly that I have a counterspell in my hand. But do I need a counterspell in my hand? I have Soul Guide Lantern, and I can answer a resolved Frog. Yeah, I'm just going to play Tameo. She might just get answered cleanly, but that's fine. This line also tells a story that I don't have interaction, which is a fun story to tell when, in fact, I do. Fetch Meticulous Archive in the end step. Dumped an Atraxa. Got that free Entomb. We hate to see it. Oh no, they're going to go over the top here. Yep, alright, well, I'll bomb you, and then they'll Goryo in response. And me casting the Tameo is actually going to cost me here. The free Entomb, maybe I'm supposed to, in the end step, just bomb them. That's so sloppy, though. I don't know. It had to be like exactly the sequence to get me, but this sequence did get me. Okay, this game was winnable with more careful interaction. If I didn't get greedy and shove this Tameo, we would have been fine. So this one's totally on me. It did take a random flip of Atraxa into the graveyard, plus Prismatic Ending and Goryos to get to this point, but that is something I could have played around, and you're not allowed to complain about anything if you could have played around it. Consigned to Memory, Marshflat, Solitude are what they took. Oh, that's weird. They didn't keep an Ephemerate. All right, so Consigned to Memory, Marshflat, Solitude. They must already have an Ephemerate then, and they just don't want to have to go to crazy discard in their end step. I'm not blocking. You can't make me do it. Yep, and here comes the Ephemerate. Oh, not with that mana. Oh, they consign the trigger. That's the same as an Ephemerate. Okay, I see. No, or does Marshflats not fetch a white source? Interesting. Okay. Easy, easy, easy. When I tell you magic is easy, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, I can bounce this Atraxa. This costs 3. 1, 2, 3. And attack with Tameo. But because I lost my Soul Guide Lantern last turn, that doesn't even turn on Mox Opal yet. Okay, they have an Atraxa Marshflat Solitude in their hand. I have some conditional counterspells in mine. They can just cast Solitude on Tameo here, and I cannot interact with that. Tainted Indulgence. This results in Atraxa being back in the graveyard. I think I actually want to dispute this. It taps them out for the turn, even if they do resolve their spell. And that just gives me time to figure this out. If 5 mana now, like what do I think is going to happen? Okay. They tricked me into using my counterspell on something else, but I do have Portable Hole. So it wasn't a real trick. Okay, Portable Hole, get rid of Frog. Frog can discard Atraxa on the way out if it wants to. Discard a Grizzlebrand. Okay, so they have multiple Big O's in the hand. Kept the Atraxa in there. Attack with Tameo. Opal is on now. I think I should be drawing cards with Tameo and not playing Sword of the Meeks onto the battlefield. Ooh, the green mana. They're working towards casting Atraxa. That's why they kept that one. They're honestly pretty close to doing that. Atraxa is also a white card to pitch to Solitude. Multiple reasons to do that, especially with the Grizzlebrand already in the bank. Okay, I'll Swan Song this and hope they don't have more. We did it. Okay, end step, eat a clue. I still have enough clues to flip Tameo with next turn, if that is what I want to do. Bobble. Okay, Tameo gets to attack. It didn't block. No respect for Kaito. Draw with my clue. I think I'm going to give myself the chance to draw Urza Saga here and draw with the other clue. Flips, plus, Breeding Pool. Can I afford to shock this? Can I afford not to? All right, I'm shocking this in. Breeding Pool Amber, which taps for green now. Bobble. And let's see what you're drawing. Atraxa. Okay, that card's not very good. I hope it stays that way. All right, I have stock up. They're attacking me, putting me to 7. That is the number that Atraxa and Grizzlebrand are. Okay, Shifting Woodland. I guess I just stock up here. Here we go. Stonks Rising. Urza. They've been sitting on Solitude for their entire lives at this point. Okay, this is stock up, not Rumble, so I have to make sure I click on this correctly. Either Spellbomb is something I can just park and play. Either Spellbomb, and I think I do want Urza. Shifting Woodland plus Tameo. Okay, if I play Urza, what happens? They cast Solitude and he dies. I can float some mana in response and I still get a construct. Maybe Tameo is supposed to get back Mystical Dispute this turn. I might have blown it. Okay, I'm going to play Urza. This still leaves such a big construct behind. Yeah, there's the Solitude. That resolves. I'm going to float a blue to play Spellbomb with. I get a Big O. It becomes even bigger. And pass the turn. I'm not sure if I played that turn correctly. Buying back the counterspell seems like it might have been worth doing. Okay, 6 mana now. 1 away from casting the 2 Atraxas in their hand. Bunch of mana in the pool. 5. They have a second Solitude? They do. Okay. But this gains me a bunch of life, and Tameo has an attack bubble up here. Okay, they are putting damage on Tameo now. Suddenly worried about it. Stock up is worth buying back. But I got more where that came from. Okay, Urza Saga will almost certainly be my land this turn, so I'll just play it. And then 1, 2, 3, stock up. Emery and a bunch more Tameos. Lava Spur Boots. I can go Emery, immediately cast Soul Guide Lantern. All right, Emery Boots are what I'm taking. Play Emery. Still haven't seen a Thopter Foundry. We're so close, team. I did mill over an Urza. I do have Delirium. Lava Spur Boots. Equipped to Emery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tameo dies this turn anyway. So I'm going to replay Soul Guide Lantern. Exile their Grizzlebrand. Let's just deal with that right now. And 3, 6, 7, 8. I would take 8 damage. Yeah, Tameo's dead anyway. I don't want a hard cast Atraxa to kill me here, so I'm going to rebuy Mystical Dispute and game on. I'm a Thopter Foundry away from going infinite right now. And I can start Saga bashing. I have life to work with. Here's the attack. Pest Control. Yeah, that card's really good. This kills the bird already. So I guess I will redraw with one of these things. Yeah, I'm going to draw a card with Aether Spellbomb, and then bomb their graveyard with Soul Guide Lantern. And then we begin the rebuild process. Okay. That's a lot of stuff gone. They get Psychic Frog back. Can I draw Thopter Foundry? No, absolutely not. A bauble from hand, replay Portable Hole from the graveyard. Got to deal with this frog. I can block a Solitude with a Construct. Replay Opal. Land for turn. Sword of the Meek. Okay, is bobbling them a good idea? My Construct will be plenty big enough, yes. Bobble you, I want to know. Thoughtseize on top. They can shuffle that away with Polluted Delta, if they believe that is correct to do. Thoughtseize is pretty good here, especially since I just drew the Thopter Foundry I've been waiting for. They're at 29, they know I have a counterspell. But if they Thoughtseize Thopter Foundry, I can copy it with Woodland. Okay, Thoughtseize works. Snapped off that Thopter Foundry. Can I play around Fatal Push here? No. Oh wow, they didn't even attack. Love that. Okay. It's Construct gaming time then. They just told me straight up they don't have an answer to constructs. Two of the cards in hand are Atraxa. Another Dispute. 1, 2, another Construct. Tutor, another Bauble. I'm running out of things to get here. Target Thopter Foundry with Emery. Blue-white. We're on board. We're gaming. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm one short of going infinite right now. Construct, get in. Okay, they didn't block, which means I'm going to make a Thopter. This does extra damage. I'll stop there, leave enough mana open to Mystical Dispute and still make Thopters through Graveyard Hate. Wow, okay, cool. Outground it. Game 3. If I just had less to do, I'd be interested in Consign to Memory, but I'm just kind of out of cards to sideboard out with my deck still working. I'm just going to present the same 60 again. Okay, I like Portable Hole. I like Tamiyo. This might be slow, but I do have stuff to do and interaction. Both kept 7. Okay, cool. Now I'm not even worried about my mana colors. I'm going to get Hallowed Fountain and play Tamiyo. They're responding. We have Mystical Disputes, Fatal Pushes. Just playing around Mox Amber. Okay, I've been disputed. You did it. Okay, I can put Psychic Frog in a hole, but it can discard Atraxa on the way through. They just pass, though. Love that. Oh, nice. Nice. That was one of the best draws I could ask for. Now I don't have to play Misty Rainforest. I don't have to figure out what my sidestep is here. I can just do what I wanted to do the whole time, which is play Urza Saga with a counterspell up. Now I don't have to counter a Tainted Indulgence, but they're still going to cast it. Discard a Grizzlebrand. So here we are in that spot again. I'm just going to exile their graveyard now. I'm not going to fall for that sequence again. That was the mistake that almost cost me last game. Urza Saga ticks up. Misty Rainforest. Now I can hardcast Mystical Dispute if they play some non-blue card I need to interact with. And they just did nothing with their turn. Love that. We've seen Pest Control. We know they can catch up to a fully mature Urza Saga. They could, when I tap out for Urza Saga, Tainted Indulgence into Goryo. Oh, what is going on here? Opposition Agent is not legal in Modern. That's me reminding myself as much as anyone else. Okay. Breeding Pool, get it in. I am going to make the Construct, even if that means they can Tainted Indulgence into Goryo's in my end step, or in their end step. Okay. Urza Saga. This turn, I do not want to do that, though. Now I have something on board. What do I want to get? In the boots, apply pressure. Spellbomb is a redraw. I have mana. All right, yeah, I'm going to get Aether Spellbomb. Play another Saga. And cast Emery here. The Emery representing repeated Soul Guide Lanterns is something they have to worry about. Sort of the Meek now in my graveyard. As much as I would love to cast Stock Up with my floating mana there, it is not correct. Okay, they did nothing with their whole turn. 5 mana, Solitude now represented. Main phase, fetching Undercity Sewer. Trying to spike that free Entomb. Really hope they don't get it. Okay, kept the card. It was not Atraxa. And if it was, it's not in play. I'll take it either way. Thopter Foundry. Sword of the Meek's already in the graveyard. I'm going to cast Soul Guide Lantern from my graveyard using Urza Saga to do it. This cost me Urza Saga for the turn, but I'm checking boxes, trying not to get cheesed out here. And I'm very close to Urza just dominating. If Saga is still in play, when I get my trigger, I'll search for Opal and then get that mana burst that I wanted this turn. Here we go to my turn, Bauble. Gonna get an Opal, I guess. And I'll test their counter spells. I don't think they could let Thopter Foundry resolve here with Sword in the graveyard. A white-blue Thopter Foundry, doing it pre-combat. It resolved. I have a mana floating, which means I'm going to turn Mishra's Bauble into Thopter plus Sword of the Meek. This is extra damage, and I can cast that for free with Emery. Bauble. Replay Bauble. Attack for 8. If I'm willing to make another construct, this is actually a lethal attack. But I could just make their fetch land not a real thing. Okay. Pitch cast Solitude. This is fine. If they ephemerate it, it's a little frustrating, but still fine. Yeah, this doesn't break up Thopter Sword, which is what the game is really about at this point. I've got my other hooks in. I don't need Emery or an 8/8. I do wish this was a 2/3 though, so it could trade with Solitude in combat. That bug does matter. They fetch down to 8. Another Surveil land. Did not get the Entomb, dumped a Polluted Delta, 2 cards left in hand, about to draw a third. I don't think ephemerating here makes any sense. Nope. Yeah, they'd rather just attack. Psychic Frog, I have a hole to put that in. We can also discard Atraxa, but I have Soul Guide Lantern to deal with that. I am just going to take the hit this turn. I'm at 24. There's no reason to mess with this. Like, why lose to a Surgical Extraction here? Okay, I will take anything that's mana. Adawara. 2 cards in hand. Urza is game here if it resolves. But again, why take a risk? Put Frog in a hole. That's gone. Attack for 1, that should be 2. Like, even Pest Control doesn't break up what I'm doing here. And if they tap too low, Urza drops and I make infinite life. A Solitude's attacking. I have 3 mana here, which is enough to do what I want to do. I will trade off with the Solitude. This time it's worth it. If they have a Fatal Push, it's not a big deal, because these resources are endless. Anytime your opponent spends a card on something that you got just by tapping a land, good job. Okay, I think I'm just going to go for the win. Island Urza. I still have a mana up if I need to bounce some Thopters. I can't force a negation this. Yeah, sink into Stupor. Temporary answer. They know death awaits them. Deck you to 12, go. And we did it. Just had to play super careful not to get cheesed. And even in the 2 games where we did get cheesed, one of them was a punt and we were able to beat it. And the other one was 1 Mox away, or 1 extra mana, 1 die roll away from beating a turn 3 Sticky Atraxa. The grinding power of this deck is not to be denied. On to the final round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in the final round, positive records locked, playing for the bread and butter 4/1. 1 lander. Let's math it out. 20 lands, 3 Mox in that work, and 0 Mox in that work if Tamio dies. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, a tap land, a Mox Opal that's not on. It's getting worse. We go to 5. Okay, this one works. I think I'm going to bottom Aether Spellbomb and Misty Rainforest. This lets me turn 1 Tameo, turn 2 Rumble. It looks like we're playing against some Eldrazi. I gotta use Breeding Pool if this is my line. Devour or Trigger. They did not want Ancient Stirring, Stomping Grounds, or Talisman of Impulse. What if Foothills? Here we go. It's probably a Utopia Sprawl. Just thinking about what 1-drops Eldrazi even has. There we go. A Bauble. Okay. Rumble. That means Opal is on if I find one. And I did find one. I think that's what I should take here. I didn't find the land I was looking for, but Opal functions in that environment. Opal, Bauble. I can even exile their Utopia Sprawl, which I think I'm actually going to do. How many 2-drops does Eldrazi play? Let's get rid of that shit. And might as well Bauble, right? This will draw the card on my turn if I Bauble now. And we're closer to flipping Tibia. Selling Myco Spawn. Too good for Legacy. Allowed here. Wasteland is the difference. Select command, deleting my Tameo. Fair enough. And they're going to draw a card. Scry 1, draw a card. Okay, draw an extra card. It's a Rumble. It's another Rumble. Well, I can Rumble here and still activate Saga, so I will. Mox Amber, Shifting Woodland. Thopter Foundry, Otawara. Rumble can hit another Sword. Like, Sword going to the graveyard is actually good. Do I want Thopter Foundry, or do I want to hit my land drop with Shifting Woodland, which also could become Thopter Foundry in the future? I think I'm going to take the Shifting Woodland. That lets me Saga. Oh, I could just Rumble again now. Never mind. That's even better. Here we go. A Tameo, a Portable Hole, another Saga, and an Amber. I'm going to take Saga. Keep that pressure up. Okay, here we go. And Malevolent Rumble, functionally costing 1, is so cracked. I don't know if they normally have a Bajuka Bog in their Sowing Myco Spawn package. That's something that I'll have to study up on, do my homework, if I want to do well this modern season. Malevolent Rumble found a Karn. Well, that's a card that is very difficult for me to beat if I'm not already way ahead on board. They took Karn. No surprise there. End step. Make the construct. On my turn, make the construct. And I'm going to use Opal to do it, because Opal might not work in the near future. Okay, they're just dead. Too much meat, I guess, for Karn to catch up with. These Consigned to Memories have been sitting here all day. Ceremonious Rejection, counter target colorless spell, let's go. We got 5 of these to deal with Karn. Swan Song's not it. Yeah, I don't want the rest of this stuff. Pithing Needles and maybe the Consigns and Rejection are for sure. Okay, -1 Opal and Amber, both because I usually do that, and also because Karn makes them much worse. I could cut Aether Spellbomb and focus on the board. I think going infinite and keeping Karn off my back are my job here. Haywire Might does have targets. Yeah, I don't think I could cut Haywire Might. Aether Spellbomb. Oh, it's Portable Hole. Never mind. That has, like, very few targets. It's like Utopia Sprawl and Talismans, and then I'm bringing in 5 answers to real stuff. I can leave 1 in, or I could cut them all and turn that into a Needle. A Needling Karn or Needling World Breaker. I can see Needle being good. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Let's battle. This is a deck without counter spells, so I get to send Urza aggressively if I have one. Okay. 2 of the harder one to find, and then I can have a way to mill into the sword. Keep. Temple Pass. Tameo. Okay. Well, I have to tap out of Consign if I'm going to play this, but I am going to play this, so let's do it. If I get Thought Knotted, it's a little annoying. Okay, perfect. Does this deck even play Thought Knots here? Seems like a weird question to ask about an Eldrazi deck, but I think it is actually a reasonable question. Not equipping Boots because I'm trying to keep up Consigned to Memory. They're showing Karn this turn. Oh, they're going to kick a Myco Spawn. Turn 3 kicked Myco Spawn. Powerful stuff. It's like we're playing Legacy again. Guess they could play World Breaker here. I would actually prefer that to Myco Spawn. Alright, well, I can counter this trigger to protect Otawara. How important is this mana? All right, I am going to ignore all of these things and save my consign to memory for a spot where I think it'll actually save me. Like, knowing cards in their deck means I can't just willy-nilly these things. Basic Forest Tutored. That's way less scary than Wasteland, coming from the normal Legacy perspective. Okay, gonna get Hedge Maze here. Hedge Maze. I'd love to see an Amber. Stock up. I don't think I'm in the market for stock up. I need mana and the other. I need Urza and the other thing. Okay. Yeah. Dismember here's fine. I don't mind tapping out of that. Okay. Well, there's Saga. I'll take that one. The other thing I was trying to spit out was the sword. I need Urza and sword. That's how I win this game. Utopia Sprawl, you got it. 3 cards left in hand. I can counter all parts of a World Breaker. The Sowing Mycospawn won't matter next turn when I can put a bigger construct in front of it. Talisman, 2 cards left. Yeah, them flooding out here is what I need. Just have, like, not all bangers in your hand, and it'll be fine. Got Eldrazi mana in the tank. 6 of it. This looks like a Kozilek's command. Oh no, it's another kicked Mycospawn. Alright, I am going to counter, I think, the 2 triggers on this. I have to be able to avoid or ignore the body and beat it on board. And if the last card in their hand is Karn, my constructs do still tangle with that well enough. I'd still love to see a Mox, and we hit. Okay. Yeah, just hitting that Mox just makes this a 4-4. My first construct, instead of 3-3, and I'm immediately the biggest thing on the board. Karn is still bad, don't get me wrong. But they do need some pretty relevant or specific cards here. If they have an Eldrazi of some sort, it is World Breaker. That exiles Saga. Get to make a 4-4 first. Hallowed Fountain. Alright, what's your last card? Okay, they're taking chump attacks trying to get this damage through. Unless they have Kozilek's command in hand. They didn't have to move into combat to cast that. Alright. Weird timing, but it does work. Alright, I'm in a lot of trouble. Remember when I said I need their 3 cards in hand to not be stone bangers? Well, they were. Okay, Shifting Woodland, play Thopter Foundry. I can sacrifice Lava Spur Boots to make a 1-1 go to 8 block World Breaker, and then go to my turn and try to rumble into Sword. Okay, sacrifice Lava Spur Boots. I don't think that's the solution to my problems here. Block the biggest one, I go to 2. Utopia Sprawl's fine. 1 more card, please don't be a banger. It was not a banger. Alright, deck, big moves. Mill into Sword of the Meek, let's go. No! Well, there's Emery. Alright, well I have to take Emery. And then I can play her. That's another 4 looks at Sword of the Meek, and now Amber's on. And we whiffed. I can survive another turn, though. Go to 3, block, block, block. It's not pretty. Commercial District. Kept the card on top. Okay, Mox Amber, sacrifice Mox Amber, 3. I could use the spawn, have Thopter Foundry sack itself, and I get to keep Emery. Does that matter? Or is it better to have Thopter Foundry still around? Yeah, Emery's basically worth a mana, and it would save me 2 mana not to sack my Thopter Foundry. Okay, these are my blocks. I don't even know what I'm looking for at this point. And it's not a land. Let's see. I can play Thopter Foundry. Sack, go to 4, block. I'd have to fetch. Yeah, okay. I think I'm good. Hold on. So I can turn Shifting Woodland into Urza next turn. I have to fetch down to 2. I could sack both Thopter Foundries back out to 4. Block, block, go to 1. Alright. I will keep playing because I'm technically not dead. And this is something they just surveilled to the top, on top of their deck right now. I fetch my basic, that is still in the deck, I hope. We did it. Alright, sack Thopter Foundry to itself. If they just have like a Beseju or a Dismember here before blocks, that'll do it too. Or they could save those cards and let me continue to flounder. Okay, block, block. They're tapping a lot of mana. I'm prepared to concede to an Emrakul. Okay. They did it. Yeah, we don't need to keep playing. Okay. Now I'm on the play where everything's better. Hitting Needle, does this card matter compared to anything else I could be playing? I think the Needle's fine. I don't have more things I'd want to bring in. The thing I could do is bring an Opal back and just go for speed. Yeah, one portable hole to try to clip their turn 1 Utopia Sprawl doesn't sound like a promising way out of this. Soul-Guide Lantern could mess with their Delirium count for Emrakul, or make it harder to recur a World Breaker, but my plan isn't really to kill World Breaker. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the Pithing Needle in after reviewing my options. Alright, good hand, let's go. This is no mana. I'll mulligan. Still no mana. Just have not seen a land in 14 cards. Straight to 5. This is actually outrageous. I can keep this one, though. Technically. This one does have a mana. It's bad, though. What am I doing if I keep this? I'm bottoming Urza and Haywire Might. Or do I keep Urza, bottom Haywire Might, and Aether Spellbomb? Alright, this hand is probably a disaster, but here we are. Alright, Spellbomb and Haywire Might to the bottom. Do I get rid of Thopter Foundry instead? Because if I keep Spellbomb, I can... What if it's Thopter Foundry Spellbomb to the bottom and I keep Haywire Might? That lets me interact with their ramp spells, and I can use my Mistress Bauble without turning off Opal. Okay. This sucks a lot, but I'm going to try it. Hopefully I don't have Mind Break Trap. Okay, Bauble, Opal, Amber, Haywire Might, Bauble you, Rumble on top. Okay, here we go. Sword of the Meek found. I know there's a Thopter Foundry on the bottom of my deck. Ugin's Lab. Pitching Emrakul. And pass to me another Mox Amber. That's not what I wanted at all. Alright, I think this match is over. That was an insane run of bad luck, though. I could have gone to 4, but 21 cards in a 20-land deck and seeing 0 lands is actually outrageous. Stomping Ground. Here's the Rumble we knew about. Forests and Talismans are their options. Took the Talisman. They could play it. I could exile it. I think I need to go to my turn before I make any exiled-based decisions. Okay, I found a land. That helps a little bit. I could exile this Talisman of Impulse, or I could play Sword of the Meek out and try to get Urza down next turn. I don't think that changes anything. Alright. This is going to suck regardless. I gotta try to spike. Gonna try to high roll here. Eldrazi Temple. And no follow-up. Gonna get the Hedge Maze. Hedge Maze. A Rumble that I can't cast. Oh no. Put that in the graveyard. Need a land deck. A land or an Emery or a Tameo. Alright, I'll take Emery. Emery, get in there. Emery milled over some stuff. Float blue, play Mox Amber. If they dismember in response or exile Emery in response, this is really bad, but it's the play that I have. Unfortunately, their hand both has telegraphed removal, and also it's so obvious that it's not even clever to interact there. Okay. I'll pass the turn. It looks like a Kozilek's Command, making spawns and drawing a card. Top bottom. That Kozilek's Command also could have killed Emery, if they wanted it to. They're fetching a forest, grabbing Emrakul, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Kicked Myco Spawn. Oh yeah. A disappointing end. Ends with a whimper. Oh yeah. Turn on that Opal, 1 turn too late. Bauble you, probably concede shortly thereafter. Leaving Opal on, I don't think makes any sense compared to trying to hit a mana source. Bajuka Bog. There is one of those in the deck, it turns out. There's that Sprawl. Writhing Chrysalis, that is just a creature with power and toughness. And I'm good. Alright, we don't have to keep playing this. Positive record in the books. Losing to a Mulligan to Oblivion, and also Boros Land Destruction Suppression Field Prison. My immediate thoughts after playing through this deck are, I want to be able to keep more hands and do more things. I don't like having 3 Ambers that are off if you don't happen to have Tameo or Emery. And the modern removal suite that just every deck is capable of playing can kill an Emery or a Tameo pretty easily, and then that's also taking a mana source with it. If I were tuning this deck without changing the colors, like Esper is an option, Grixis is an option, you could do other stuff, like dramatically different stuff. The Malevolent Rumbles were very cool, though. I would cut, I think, 2 of the Ambers, having 1 in where you can grab a bonus 0 mana source off Saga in case you already have Opal, or you just happen to fall into a nut draw once in a while with an amber that does something. I think that's okay. But 3 of these, they were frequently just gummed up in my hand, or I didn't have a legend and they never tap for mana. And the second Shifting Woodland kind of sucks. I think I would put another Hallowed Fountain in over one of these Shifting Woodlands. One is still cool. The application is there, but again, I would rather just have mana that casts my spells. What I would put in the place of these 2 extra ambers, you could even just play another land. Again, keep more hands is an option. You can move Pithing Needle into the main deck, a Soul Guide Lantern into the main deck. That keeps your artifact count up to turn on Opal more often. Amber is very good at enabling Emery and Opal, even if it's not always going to tap for mana. We could add Teferi Time Raveler to the deck. That's another thing that turns on Amber and is also just really sweet in control shells like this. Combo control shells, I should specify. Like stock up could just be Teferi, or the 2 ambers could be Soul Guide Lantern and Teferi. Those are just the thoughts kicking through my head at the end of 5 matches with this. I do like Urza. I enjoyed revisiting my boy from 5-6 years ago. It's nice to see you again in a deck. Fast mana, obviously great, and Urza Saga, obviously great to just be ticking around in the background of all this other stuff they got to keep up with. If I was less focused on... If I wasn't going to rumble, if this was like an Esper deck or Grixis, that opens up a lot of slots to just be a more stable deck that plods its way inevitably into the Thopter combo, rather than a deck that is sending it aggressively, trying to spike it quickly. And I might like that better. That idea, that concept. But I'm not going to make all those changes live on camera right now. Those are just my thoughts. Urza still rules. Thopter Foundry still mostly unbeatable for any deck if you get it going. And Corey, thank you for putting this deck out into the world, getting the creative juices flowing. Joyami, thank you for the opportunity to play it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.